Do you know there are 5 sales that every business needs in order to succeed? Hey, I'm John LaDuca, and I talk about wisdom as a corporate asset. I'm the crackpot who's been talking about intellectual capital for 25 years, talking about how you can identify, package, and monetize it to grow and scale your business. I believe that there's a application for wisdom on the backstage of your business. Those are the systems and procedures that you have, training people, and then the front stage of the business. That's your sales, your marketing, your positioning, all of the assets that get coated with this kind of clarity around your wisdom. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 crucial sales you absolutely have to make in order to succeed. So for small businesses, the biggest danger for them is drift. That's the danger. And without answering these 5 questions, your organization is in real peril. Why? Because misalignment, lack of clarity isn't just toxic on the inside of your business, but it can confuse a market or really undersell what's going on and the value that you create. So nailing these 5 is an imperative. Obviously, I don't need to tell you, it's a competitive landscape out there. So for 25 years, I was a consultant. I'd come into a business, lead them for 6 to 12 months, not transactional relationships, but an embedded resource. These were close relationships. And what I saw that was happening that was slowing them down, they weren't being outcompeted by the guys across the street. It wasn't another company that was beating them. They were beating themselves. It was friendly fire that slowed most of them down. It was the inability to operationalize for scale, to get the owner out of the way, get that wisdom into an asset that could actually deliver results for them. And on the front stage of the business, the marketing, the messaging, was an inability to say something clear, concise, and compelling consistently. That slowed them down. So we're going to talk about that today with 5 key sales that will really help you clarify your message and help you win out there in the marketplace where that message needs to reside. Okay, so hang on, here we go. Okay, so there are 5 sales. The first sale is arguably the most important. It is free, and you will 100% close this one if you attack it. It is the fastest close you're gonna see. That sale is you. It's the sale between your ears. It's convincing you that you have what it takes, that what you've brought to market is unique and differentiated, and assigning language to that differentiation so you're super clear. You'd be surprised. A lot of folks put lipstick on a pig and get out there with sales, marketing, and efforts that fail because they themselves are not convinced that what they're doing isn't unique, valuable, and urgently in need by the marketplace. That sale doesn't get made. There isn't a damn thing you can do to overcome it. So if anybody needs to be closed, it's you. You as the founder, the leader, the person in charge, you alone have to be closed. So start there. We'll talk about that. Second sale we're going to make. That one is the kitchen table. That's kind of like if you have a family, like bringing your kids around the kitchen table and saying, all right, everybody, let's talk about where we're going on family vacation this year, or let's talk about something that happened this weekend. When you get everybody on your team around the kitchen table, you've got to make a sale. And that is they have to see what you see. They also have to be convinced of what you've become convinced. Because if the person answering the phone or making sales calls for you or delivering services doesn't understand, you're in trouble. So if there's a sale that needs to be made after you, it has to be your staff. Every single person needs to be bought in, connected, convicted, and engaged with your message, your clarity, your purpose, all of that. That's the second sale. Now, your third sale is the database. I call that the backyard. So I'd argue that if you've been in business for a few years, you were so busy taking care of your yeses, you neglected your maybe. You haven't talked to some of the people that weren't interested in you 5 years ago, despite the fact you've gotten much better. Maybe you are doing different things today, but the database doesn't know it. Now, you might be getting after this, but for some businesses, I'll just resurrect the conversation in case you've neglected it. There's gold in the backyard. It's buried in your database. Clients you've lost, clients that you won, and then they turned out and you could reactivate them, the maybes that never said yes, and the outright no's that you could not overcome those obstacles when you engaged with them. There are tons of opportunities in the database, and most of my clients in a consulting capacity, in a services capacity, even in any arena, in any industry, could double the business just by shaking loose low-hanging fruit. But those names in the database, there's gold in there, and I want to encourage you to get after it, especially if armed with newfound clarity around what you are and what you do and for whom, you will look at that database, connect with them differently. You can reactivate them them with your renewed energy and clarity. Okay, that's sale number 3. Sale number 4 is another bonanza of opportunity, and it's in your neighborhood. It's those centers of influence that could send a client to your referral sources who already have your client, care for them, take good care of them in a different capacity than you do, and they don't know that you could serve their client. This is an opportunity for you to meet the center of influence, explain to them your ideal client, how you create value in a unique way, and activate a base of people who, I don't need to explain it to you, would send you a referral, which is going to give you a very high close ratio, short sales cycle, and probably a deep share of wallet because there's already a lot of trust established. So if there's a cadre of people that you could imagine that is already working with your client, that clarity, that first sale gets delivered into your conversations with the neighborhood. Who do you serve? Why are you great? What kind of deliverables and outcomes? Those things matter. And then there's great opportunities for joint venture opportunities, co-branding or marketing opportunities. But the sale that I think delivers incredible yield in this arena is the last sale. This is the world. This is the largest pool to play in. It is also the most expensive. It has the longest sales cycle, the lowest close ratios, but nonetheless, it's a necessary element in the equation. You want to really get after building a brand, establishing your market dominance, and reinforcing your message. You want to play in the world. The mechanics of that are subject to lots and lots of discussions depending upon which platform you're playing on. Are you doing paid per click marketing? Are you doing social media? Are you doing some combination of those things? Direct marketing, advertising. There's a broad spectrum there and all of it's spendy. So it's not the one I think is imperative for businesses where you've got relationships first. Go close those. But of course, you don't want to neglect the world either. You want to go and do top down and bottom up. You want to go through closely held relationships, right? But you also want to establish a brand message out there. And there's lots of conversations to have about that. They're not for this video. Getting your message clarified definitely is going to eventually become advertising marketing and used in that capacity. Unless, of course, you're not clear. So again, that first sale right between your ears, you have to make that close. That's the most important sale you can make in your career. Who are we? What are we doing? For whom? And why are we better at it than somebody else? If you can't make that sale, you're going to piss away a lot of money doing a lot of things badly. You have to know. Okay, so you know I'm a nerd and I like to talk about history all the time. And so this is a great story to resurrect a piece of familiar history, but kind of connect it to my points today. You know the story of Washington crossing the Delaware. You're familiar with it. You've seen them on the prow of the boat. It looks like, you know, they're just covered in ice. It's not a nice night. It was a turning point in the war. It was an absolute magnificent stroke of genius to attack on Christmas Eve. But that December, we were losing, and I mean badly. Congress had to flee Philadelphia. General Washington was losing thousands of soldiers. They just weren't re-enlisting. They were not coming back, and they were actually abandoning the cause. It looked helpless. But if you look at the records, the diaries, and the letters, Washington actually had an abiding clarity about one thing, one sale he had made. The British are not invincible. So he bided his time, he got his ass kicked in New York, and he was scrambling on his heels, but somehow that internal awareness never left him. That sale, that first sale, the British are not invincible. Let him bide his time and wait for an opportunity, galvanize his men, cross the Delaware and attack, and victorious, they reignited the revolution, and you know the rest is history. That's a small piece of history, but this happens on everyday stories all over the place. One person holds the fire. It's you. And so that's why I start with that sale. But it's a great piece of history and a fun one. What's the payoff of doing this? Obviously, it's clarity. It's galvanizing your team. It's reaching out to the database and reigniting the low-hanging fruit and driving some quick win revenue, and then establishing a very broad arsenal of referral sources, also ignited and clarified by your vision, your passion, and the specificity of your message. The payoff is all short-term and long-term sales. It's message alignment and galvanizing the team, which means team retention and clarity, and it will also trickle into all the operations of the organization. Clarity gets action, and so you want that first sale sale to ignite the rest of this activity. That's the big payoff. Now, last bit, we're just going to recap. I'm going to put you in motion because I think it's important. What are these 5 sales? Number 1, between your ears. That's you. Who are we? Who do we serve? What is important about what we do and how do we activate our community? Number 2, the kitchen table. That's your people, your team. They absolutely need to be on the same page with you and running lockstep, right? There's a great old African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, bring others. So you want to bring them with you. Number 3, third sale, that's the backyard, your database. Go after it. Number 4, your neighborhood. Activate your centers of influence, re them with what you do and for whom, and get them activated. And then 5, yeah, go tell your story to the world. Cover that base. Go continue to spread your message out there in the largest marketplace and keep that plate spinning. There's lots to talk about with all 5 of these, and they all start with sale number 1. And so I'm going to coach you on what to do next. This is your homework. If you choose to accept it, here's your assignment. I want you to think about who is your ideal client. And you've been down this exercise before and it probably didn't yield fruit, and I'll tell you why. Most consultants would allow you to create a composite of an imaginary person that is useless to you. You need to think of an actual client that you actually know, and you need to write their name down, and you need to bring their spirit into the room when you characterize who they are, how they found you, what's keeping them up at night, and how you can create value for them. Don't genericize this. Don't say, well, it's 2 people, so we'll put them together. All those things will water down that clarity. It will commoditize that kind of an effort. So your question is, your next action, I want you to think about your ideal client, someone you've already served, that if you could clone them, you would. And I want you to have faith in the fact that if you just detailed exactly who they are, what keeps them up at night, and what they're deeply seeking, you will get clarity around who and what you are and do for others. Start there. I'll see you on the next video and we'll pick that conversation up. All right, from John signing off. Do me a favor, if you like this, just want to be a part of what we're doing, hear more about this stuff, like and subscribe. I know it's a quick thing for your finger to just click, but it also means the world to us. We can stay connected with you. And I do want your comments. I cherish the feedback and it nourishes me. So keep us connected by sharing what you're thinking. Even if it's criticism, critique, or your own ideas, go ahead. We'd love to hear from you and we'll bring your ideas and wisdom into our next videos. Thanks so much. Take care.